concentration of problems in southern Dallas, but it's not universal. And this part of southern Dallas is historically the place where middle and upper middle class African American families have lived. And yet, despite the fact that there was plenty of purchasing power, there's nothing to buy around here. There's just no quality amenities, no quality sit-down restaurants, retail, movie theaters, coffee, offices, hotels. It just doesn't exist. So what I realized was people who live in this community who want nice things have to travel far distances to get the goods and services they want. So this investment thesis came out of the idea that, hey, there's a demand, but there's no supply. What can we do to provide that supply? And that's why I always emphasize to people, this is a for-profit investment. Like, I'm here to make a return, but I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think that the way to make a return was positive for the community, because I don't think this community needs anything else negative to be going on or any exploitation. But so that's why Redbird is the perfect place for that. It's in the right part of town. It's a storied property. It's a great piece of land. It's an operating business already.
That's currently profitable, right? It
is. It's currently open and profitable. We had 110 different tenants here that make their livelihood. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is this is a North Park quality shopping experience. It's not. We want to turn it into something that can attract the people that are traveling to North Park and the parks at Arlington. But it's open and profitable. But it needs to be reimagined, and that's what we're trying to do.
I like to get down in the weeds a little bit because it's part of what I'm interested in, because when I was writing about this mall for D Magazine, 7-8 years ago, and working with Miss Pemberton, when people thought that the mall was about to close, one of the challenges, among others, was the number of owners that were associated with the different parcels of land here on the property, and even with the different boxes and big department stores. So can you talk about what it took for you to assemble a part, this mall in a way that made you feel comfortable with moving forward? I think that's a pretty interesting part of this too.
Yeah. So, you're right. So for those of your listeners that are not familiar, this is 122-acre parcel bordered by Camp Wisdom, Westmoreland, I-20, and 67. And then within that, there's a ring road which defines the property of the mall, and that's 90 acres. That 90 acres had 6 different owners. Each of the anchors, Macy's, Sears, etc., was separately owned, and then the inline portion of the mall was separately owned, and each had different parts of the parking lot. And then outside that ring road, there are 28 other owners of each of the parcels. Wow. So it was very hard to do anything. So every time the mall has been sold over the past 20-odd years, all that's been sold is the inline portion of the mall and about 20 acres of parking lot. And you can't do anything with that. Yeah. If you don't own the entrances and you don't own the majority of the real estate and the buildings, you could gold plate that thing, and it wouldn't matter if you've got an empty Macy's and a torn down JCPenney next to you. No one's going to bother to go into the mall. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't want to do it. The risk I took in the initial purchase was that I would be able to purchase the rest. And I think one of the reasons why I was one of the only bidders, really the only bidder for the mall, was that seemed like too big a risk for people that understood real estate. But because I was woefully ignorant about real estate, I was like, I can do that. And so we've now done 10 separate transactions and put together about 700,000 square feet and 78 acres. So we still don't own the Sears, we don't own the Burlington Coat Factory, and we don't own most of the perimeter properties, but we've got enough that we can define the environment, and that's what we're doing.
Deconstructing Dallas, Ryan Trimble, Shawn Williams. We're here with Peter Brodsky at Redbird Mall. Excuse me, Redbird. Just Redbird.
For now.
And Peter, I think we're going along this path, so I want to hear about the grand vision. You've talked about the parcels, you talked about the neighborhood, so tell us about all these super graphics that you have here.
So, well, let me back up for a minute. When I first bought this and started meeting with the community, the first thing we asked was, what does everyone want? And that was how we started developing the idea of what to provide.
Yeah.
And the list was long because there are so few amenities here. We then started looking into what other malls around the country are doing, because while Redbird is beloved, it's not unique in terms of being a declining mall. There's an entire website called deadmalls.com that you can go buy an old dying or dead mall. That's not what people want today. And so the question is, how do you repurpose the existing real estate to create something relevant to today's consumers and community? So what we're going to do we're not going to fully demall the mall. Lots of malls are demalled and they're turned inside out where they become outdoor centers. We're not going to do that, but what we are going to do is remake the parcel, first of all. So if you drive around the mall today, what you'll see is that a lot of the parking fields are up on the second story. For instance, the parking field that you guys are in, we're on the, you parked on the second story. That was done because 70s era malls wanted to make sure that shoppers came in on the first and the second floor equally, so that they could charge equal rent for both floors and they both had the same amount of traffic. Well, the community and most people really want a walkable area. They want a walkable development. And so you can't have walkable if you're up and you're down and you're up and you're down. Yeah. So first we're going to do is we're going to regrade the entire site to be one level. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to knock down about 100,000 square feet of the mall. Anyone familiar with the mall? It's basically the food court, and west is going to get knocked down. And that's because we just don't need that much real estate space here anymore. Real estate is brick and mortar real estate is not a growth industry. So with a flatter parcel and with that part of the mall knocked down, we can drive streets through the development. And so there's a north-south street and there's an east-west street that come through. Begin to reincorporate this big massive parking lot into the city grid. And then once you have that infrastructure, the rest is, what do you do with the buildings? Well, we think that there's a real need for quality office space, so the entire second floor of the mall will become offices. The first floor will stay retail. We have a deal for a hotel to come. We're talking to residential developers. We want to put in a 1-acre green space and make that a kind of a restaurant, eating pavilion outside. And then we really would like to get some entertainment, movie theater or bowling. The community really wants family-oriented entertainment.
Sure. Deconstructing Dallas, Ryan Trimble, Shawn Williams. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the other side. Hey everyone, let's cut to the chase. You want an afternoon of the best, most affordable family entertainment in town? Do yourself and your family a favor and purchase your 2018 SMU football season tickets for just $99. That's right, for just $99, you can see some great action at Ford Stadium this fall with games against the University of Houston, Navy, and the dreaded TCU Horned Frogs. So join the herd. Go to SMUmustangs.com or call 214-SMU-GAME and ask for your very own $99 season tickets today. Again, that's SMUmustangs.com or 214-SMU-GAME. We'll see you at the stadium. Pony up.
Welcome back to Deconstructing Dallas. Shawn Williams, Ryan Trimble with Peter Brodsky. Peter, so I know you came to Southern Dallas. You kind of fell in love with the opportunities here, but also really wanted to be a part of turning Southern Dallas around. You've even served as kind of on a committee to help address the stray dogs problem, and education here has been a big portion, but you've looked at the numbers now. You said that you're looking to get a return. What makes you think that now that you have all the information that this is something that can actually work out? Because I know a lot of people here have heard about opportunities to turn this around and hadn't. What makes you feel like it will?
Well, the first thing is what we talked about before, which is this is the first time ever that one entity has controlled the majority of this piece of property. So things are possible now that have never been possible before. So that's number one. Number two is just if you look at the demographics, the median income in the area will more than support quality retail. If you look at the numbers of white-collar workers within a drivable distance, it's every bit as strong as 75 and LBJ, and you don't have any problems putting an office there. If you look at the number of cars, it's something like 120,000 cars driving north up 67 every day going to work. Well, I bet a lot of those people would like to office closer to home. So there is a retail market, there's a restaurant market, there's an entertainment market. You can do analyses of the credit card receipts at different establishments around different parts of Dallas, and there's a substantial number of people from these zip codes around here that are shopping 45 minutes away. So I have no doubt about the demographics. The question, the challenge here is about overcoming the perceptions. Because when something's been called deadbird and blackbird for so long, there's just a stigma to it. And we're working with a terrific office broker right now. This is Southwest Dallas isn't even considered an office submarket. It's not even on the radar screen. Why? Because there's no offices. And then it becomes a chicken and egg problem. So, we're putting an office there, but then it's really hard to get people to consider it because it's different and it feels foreign. The whole perception issue is the major thing we're battling. I have a lot of friends in North Dallas. I'll be standing up in Frisco on the sidelines of a game of one of my kids, and someone will start telling me how far away Redbird is, and I'm like, we just drove an hour to get to Frisco. Redbird is 20 minutes from my house. And besides, I don't care how far away it is from North Dallas. There's plenty of people who live here. You got DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, Waxahachie, Red Oak, Grand Prairie, and Oak Cliff, and they're all very, very close. So the big challenge is getting the first people to say yes so that it's not such a strange sounding idea. That's why I will really forever have respect for Starbucks, because somebody in Starbucks decided that they were willing to go make the crazy pitch to come to Redbird, and Starbucks was willing to come to Redbird before anybody else. Everybody else is like, yeah, call me when you've got other tenants. So that took some corporate courage to do it. The fact that it's a courageous act is a